know about yourselves because of the Spirit which has been planted in you on top of your soul. The difference between soul and spirit is very simple. Your soul encompasses all of your life force, your breathing, your organs, everything that works about you. The fact that you can reflect on things. Your spirit, on the other hand, is that which God has planted in you, which means that you have a reason to be alive, and you try to stay alive, and in the process of staying alive, you also try to do it with some purpose and some value and meaning. Otherwise, there's no point being alive. Cut and dry. That is your major mission in life as a Christian, is to try to inculcate in people, whoever they are and wherever they are, you have value, you have meaning, you have a spirit, God has planted it in you, and you want to activate it. You want to get it moving and grooving and motivated. Any way that you know how to do. Moms, you are on the front line of this every single day of your life. Even if your children are in their 40s or 50s, you are still in the game. And you never give it up. Not possible to do. I was thinking about a couple of things that my mother taught me in her own fashion. I learned a little bit about how to think. The logic of it was very simple. Because I said so, that's why. You know, I have never forgotten her foresight and clear-headed thinking on the matter, and I say as a father this to my children, your children, my adult children. You never leave the house without clean underwear. In case you get in an accident. All right. I learned science at home too, you know, osmosis. Shut your mouth and eat those green beans. As an adult now, I try to figure out how to do that. I put it in my ear. It doesn't go. And I also learned weather, and have had an occasion, my wife has had many occasions to teach me continually about the weather. Your room looks like a cyclone hit it. When I was a kid, I didn't know what a cyclone was. You all know? You're not sure, are you? What's a cyclone? It's a hurricane in the Pacific. That's the name of it. So there's a lot of things that we learn about life from our parents, from our moms in particular. And the one thing which should be overarching and needs to be the overarching theme is that you are both soul and spirit. And they are interlocked and interconnected. And it is the Spirit of God, which Jesus was teaching to the disciples, which is present in them as it is present in you, so that you can be about your Father's business. The other piece of the Bible, of course, is that there are many images of God acting as a mother, right? The mom taking care of the baby chicks. Wisdom literature speaks often of God in a mothering mode and caring mode. And Jesus himself, when he was talking about with the disciples about leaving and about loss and about grieving, and we all know what grieving is. We do that frequently enough in our lives. We've all lost people. Some of us have lost babies. Many of us have lost moms. And in that grieving and that loss, you always give thought to the sadness of that time and that event, the absence of the other. But at the same time, even as your soul is thinking through these things, your spirit, the Spirit God has planted in you, is also both healing you and making you an offer of rebirth. It's an invitation to be reborn. Just as Jesus talked to Nicodemus that night, you're going to be reborn. And that is the promise that you and I live in day by day. And that is the reason that you and I can survive with both style and grace the losses which occur in life. The power of the Spirit, you know, not only because you survive loss and because you grieve and sorrow well, but you do it in particular ways. Advent, which comes right before Christmas, right? You know, Christmas is right around the corner, don't you? tree's up sometime in July 15th or so, and you know, get that stuff ready to go. And it'll be on sale, of course. Right, but the Advent themes, one of the reasons that's there in the church year is because part of the idea of looking at your life is preparing for loss ahead of time, before it even happens. So you have the gifts that are given to you in the Spirit, the gifts of alertness, of flexibility, of keen observation of the surroundings and circumstances around you, so that you know at any given time that there's likely to be a loss or a change. I'm not just talking about the loss of a loved one. I'm talking about the loss sometimes of your own capabilities. That happens to all of us. We lose our capabilities. I have to tell you, I got caught on a boulder not too long ago. I thought I'd go rock climbing with my kids. Oh, yeah, I'm older. Mature is the word. Mature. I got caught on this boulder like Spider-Man. I'm a rock climber. You know what my kids did and my wife? Yeah! Oh my God! Yes! That's what they did. They took a picture and started laughing amusedly. I'm thinking, thank you, mother of my children, for your helpfulness. And so then, not being like Spider-Man, I didn't have any blue stuff. I just slid right down. And I made it down. But I also recognize that I'm not going to go up on the roof and climb my gutters and clean my gutters in my house anymore. You know? There's times of change and times of mourning. And part of what the Spirit of God does, it enables us a little bit sometimes to laugh at ourselves and to take stock of what's going on in our lives and to just work with what it is that we have in the way of our giftedness. And so one of the gifts of the Spirit to you is when you're paying attention to your surroundings and actively observing. You're watching other people, how they handle their lives. All of us who are older need to know that the young ones are always watching us. They may not look like they are, but they are, because they want to see how it is that we handle changes in life and loss and grieving. The second piece is what Jesus did, of course, as you know, and I don't know how he did this. It's just irritating sometimes. He always took time out. He would send the disciples figuratively, metaphorically, to their room and go up on the mountains. And they would contemplate, and they would pray. Even on the night when Jesus knew he was going to be arrested, what did he do? He went out into the Garden of Gethsemane, which is down a steep valley and up a steep hill, and prayed, meditated. And then some of the disciples fell asleep, and he got aggravated, and he woke them up. Because they needed to close their calendar and take time to meditate on the meaning of both love and loss. And so he taught them how to do that. The other pieces he did was to increase their odds for joy and renewal by teaching them to take some chances, to steps outside of their comfort zone. Just as you oftentimes can step out of your comfort zone by doing something different than you usually will do. I saw on TV, maybe you saw it, there was a car bombing over in Iraq, in one of the towns in Baghdad, and just this last week. And a guy comes out of the wreckage with his cello. And he sits down on a chair with his cello and plays the cello. A concert on the street at the precise location where the car had been bombed and people had been killed. That is stepping outside of your comfort zone in a way, a Christian way, and I do not know if he was a Christian or not, but he was certainly motivated by Jesus to be in the midst of that tragedy of loss, to make a strong and clear affirmation of life and future and hope. And you see, that is the way the Spirit of God then motivates our souls to take that kind of action, to step outside of your comfort zone. The way Jesus did that with the disciples, right? I mean, think about who he picked, right? You take a tax collector, which in those days was absolutely despised, right? We don't despise our IRS. We just don't like them. It's true. And we'll blame everything on their incompetence and their uncaring and the whole shoot match. Big whoop, okay? If you're a public person, you learn to live with that stuff. The fact is that in Jesus' day, tax collectors were hated and despised and often assassinated. Jesus picks one of those guys. He picks 4 fishermen who in their lifetime, that's all they did. Never got away from the town of Capernaum, a small town, and sends them out 2 by 2 to deal with complete, total strangers in complete, total foreign geographic areas that they had never been before in their life, to talk to people about the meaning and purpose of God and how he could impact their life and they could impact the life of other people. They even went into Samaria. And you know Samaritans, it's better to save a pig than it is a Samaritan on the side of the road. Well, that was the word back in Jesus' day. Better to save a pig than a Samaritan. Yeah, racist? Oh yeah, you think? But that is what Jesus did. Took the disciples out of their comfort zone. And the final piece, when he was talking to the disciples about being friends, you're no longer my servants, you're no longer my students, you are now my friends. He says to them, let it go. Let the mourning go. Let the grieving go. Because in the midst of that grieving and in the midst of that loss, we're friends. And I matter to you, and you matter a lot to me. So even in the midst of impending loss, Jesus and the disciples are able to make a strong affirmation that life matters in this moment. And to let the grieving go for this moment is the way in which you begin to build a new life. As Jesus says, to be born again. And that's the good news for us. And moms, as you're raising up your kids and doing all of the kinds of things you need to do, when you're losing your children because you send them to the little kids section of the store while you're on the phone and they go to the shoe place and you thought you lost them forever, you experience the devastation of loss and then the anger of finding them. At the same time, you're making a strong affirmation. I love you madly, baby. I love you madly, and that's all there is to it. And you see, that's where you know the Spirit's present. And that's the good news. Who loves you madly? You know Jesus does. And because he loves you that way, you're quite free to not worry what anybody thinks about you at all. Because your commitment is to the living of life in the Spirit, in a way which brings energy and energizing hope and future to anybody that you're with who's in need of that good news. That's the gift you've been given, same as me. It's the gift we